Hello there, if you are joining after the fact, do go ahead and skip the 4 minutes. I'll see you there. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Decided, just get going a minute or so earlier. Just because lifetime live weather here in the southeastern Pacific, roughly 100 nautical miles west of mainland South America. 3 little islands here belonging to Ecuador, and we're going to hop between them. They're just 50 or so miles apart, and there you can see live time. The sun is definitely on its way down. Alright, so there's going to be no flight plans per se. This is more just a test to see, can I do the flight? Can my computer handle a stream? Is the stream set up correctly? And specifically with obviously Flight Sim 2020 and the PMDG 737. So if you're ready for a test flight, strap in. Otherwise, bugger off. I'll see you next time. So here we go. Let's do away with the music now. If you can hear a little bit of sound in the background again, I've just got my fan on. It seems to get hotter on a night in the UK than it does during the day for whatever reason. Alright. I've got track IR on and I will do my best. Oh, by the way, I've also got me, where are we here? I set up my, there we go, camera on. And yeah, I'm using the, I'm trying to look without turning my head, but it worked to be. I'm trying to use the reflectors on the hat as opposed to the track IR clip, if I can hold it the right way. I just find the clip is less, for whatever reason, less accurate than the reflectors on the hat. So basically a waste of, I think it cost me about 50 quid. Right. Let's make a start then. Batteries on. And with that we can come down here to Flight Sim Actions, Ground Services, Request Ground. it's a bit late here where I am, coming up to 1 in the morning. Right, there we go, ground power is connected. And with that we'll click ourselves on bus. We'll arm the lights and turn this on full whack. We'll put the circuit breakers on full whack and all. And the panel lighting full whack. By the way, I had to hide my mouse because I realised for whatever reason on the stream or on the video up until now, my mouse pointer where I was really pointing and where it was showing it on the video were two different things, and I don't know why that is. I play full screen and I'm playing in 1440p, so 2K. I did have it set 4K, but I just found the frame rate isn't as good for me on 4K as it is 2K, and if I'm able to get more detail, as in if the frame rate's good, I'd prefer more detail over just higher resolution. Anyway, so I think the difference was my desktop's in 4K, Flight Sim's in 2K, it's a full screen, and for whatever reason OBS couldn't handle it. At least that's what I suspect. Right, so all the lights are on, so I'll just tell you what I'm doing. So the flights, sorry about that, I need to remember to pause my track IR if I'm going to spin my head, so I'll try remember that for next time. I've got the pause button right here. Right, so it's the ICAO code is, and I'm just wondering, there's no... I'm just thinking, is there a way that we can show? And I don't think there is there? So I'm going to have to come up here to the Navigraph menu. Well, this will be a really good way actually to show where we are and stuff. So let's just unload. I hate the way it automatically loads up whatever flight plan from last time. Right, get rid of this. Like, unless it was 5 minutes ago or whatever, you're not really interested. So here we are, as we said, in the southeastern Pacific. So Pacific Ocean there. South America here. And this little country here is Ecuador. And as we're saying, we're about 1,000 miles or so to the west of Ecuador. And these are the 3 islands. Well, there's a few more than 3, but there's 3 with an airfield. And we're going to do them all. And the runway gets increasingly shorter as we go. So Sierra Echo Sierra Tango is where it all starts from. San Cristobal, that takes us on to Segs, which is Galapagos, I'm going to go with. And then from there on to Isabella. You can see 47 miles and 51. And that's it. And so let's make a start then. In fact, just before, I should really get my systems aligning. This is the only time we have to be upside down. There we go. Smoking signs, which has been replaced by chime only, but that is the smoking sign. Logo light on. Position light on by default for whatever reason. We'll put the wheel well light on, and it does look like it's going to get dark. So what I don't like about the Navigraph thing here is if I exit it like this, basically everything we've got on the screen, including airports, is lost. So the only way to save it is to minimize it, but then you get this bar, which is, again, far from ideal. I'd like to just be able to come through this menu if I want it back, rather than have a bar there the old time, but it is what it is. And so, yeah. Right. Fuel-wise, again, there's no flight plan, so we're going to just... 1/3 will be more than enough, 15,000, and again, that's still a bit too much. You know what? I'm going to go with 8,000. And that we won't even need to refill. Okay, so there is that. Payload wise, Oh yeah, we can only carry 30 guests. You may think, well, how come you can only put 30 passengers in a 737? And that's cause if you take a look on the tail there, realise it's getting darker. It is the BBJ, the Boeing business jet. In other words, it's a private jet. Even though it's a 737, so there is that. Anyway, yeah, we'll take the full 30, and I assume we're operating in pounds. So we'll go with, I don't know, let's just put 2.5. Again, just because the runway, one of them gets a bit short. And we'll just be doing a real quick turnaround. You know, I'm not, you know, it's about getting the takeoff and landing and the practice and all that. All right, so that's done. So doors, the front door is open, which is fine. I guess we need, let's open the right door. We don't need overwing. Portable water. Lavatory maintenance van. 8,000, which we have. Total is 8, that's in. 30 passengers. I guess it's all done. I guess you can reload this way and it takes time. Yeah, it's all in. I'm happy with that. Right, let's make a start in the normal way then. So FMC, and there we see the 737-BBJ. Pause in it, and we are Sierra Echo Sierra Tango. And let's grab our position using the GPS. And I really like this. By the way, this is top here. GPS left and right. Yeah, my side, your side, if you're my first officer. It's just gone the same there. But for a difference, there was a 0.1 and a 0.0. There we see it again. Which is bang on, right? Because your GPS unit is going to be in the avionics bay. But it's going to be like a meter or two or whatever it is further to the right of the aircraft than mine. You know, if we take the seats as where it's going to be like, you know, 4 or 5 feet off. And so the fact that there's a tiny discrepancy rather than them being identical, big fan. So let's whack that in, put that as our position, and then route origin. And again, there's no flight plan, we're just freestyling it using the stuff that's available. So Sierra Echo Sierra Tango to Segs. Hopefully there's a little bit of light before we go there. I may just manually tinker with the time. I mean, I haven't seen this aircraft at night though, so maybe I'll leave it. We'll see how it goes. Flight number, right, internet flight rules. What we got at the minute? I can press this. We've got 177 subscribers as of right now. And so, flight number, internet flight rules, 177. And because it's a 7 and not an 8, we can squawk it. Departing runway then, let's have a little look what we got here. We are halfway down the runway, but it looks like 16 little. Do we have weather information? Let's have a little look. Sometimes you don't always get weather information for these out-of-the-way places, but we do. Winds are 120 at 7. Well, that means runway 16 departing. So the winds are from the southwest. So runway 16. Oh, not in database. Why is it not in database? Because it's known as runway 17. Okay, there is that. Runway 17. Right, route then. So I think it's more or less hang on, departure. Let's have a look. SID, what have we got? That takes us to mainland, so that's no good. Let me just, yeah, there we go. Let me just scale this up to make it a bit easier to see on the stream. Yeah, so that is no good. That takes us in. That takes us the wrong way and all. That's from the wrong runway. That's from the wrong runway. But this one is not. So this one just goes up and back to the VOR. Well, I'll tell you what. San Cristobal to Alpha departure. Out of all of them, it's the best one, and we'll freestyle it from there. Bless you, sweetheart. That was the cat sneezing. So San Cristobal... This beacon is going to be our only waypoint. Sierra Charlie Victor, actually. Sierra Charlie Victor, and then we've got Whiskey 17. You know what? Let's go for it. Let me just size this down now because we sort of know what we're doing. Sierra Charlie Whiskey. What do you mean it's not in database? Because it's Victor, not Whiskey. San Cristobal, there we go. I like, once in a while, doing... Well, go on, it's after a few minutes. Once in a while, I like making shit up on the fly rather than just, you know, loading everything in just perfected on SimBrief all the time. Right, Whiskey 17. And that takes us over to Golf Lima Victor. If you ever see my eyes going sideways, it's because I've got over there the screen just to check that the stream looks more or less okay. I hope it is. I don't think there's anybody on it yet, or if they are, nobody's saying anything, which is fine by me, and I'll watch it back later and hopefully it worked out. Right, that's it for there. And then with regards to our arrival, well, we know the winds are from the southeast, so we'll land. Let's have a look what we got. Well, we'll land accordingly. Let's take a look here. Approach runway 14, and there's an ILS. In fact, that's the perfect one, the ILS Yankee. But we've got a little bit of a DME arc thing going here. So let's have a look. Depart, arrive. So the depart for where we are, runway 17. And it was to get us to this one here, Sierra Charlie Victor 2 Alpha. Let's put the plan page on just to verify that this is looking somewhat correct. Yeah, so there's that loop that we were on about. So we'll exec that. There we go, perfect loop. And then that takes us direct to the other airfield, which is again just like 40 or, well, 50 miles away, let's call it. And then depart, arrive at Segs is going to be the Yankee, because that looks perfect. 14 transition the D085 Lima. So for those that don't know, that just means 085 degrees A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. So 12 letters into the alphabet, or 12 miles. So 085 degrees at 12 miles from where? Well, from the VOR beacon. That's going to be this point here. There you see, 085, distance 12, GLV. But if you didn't know that before, you do now, and you've learnt something. And if you already knew it, well, at least you know that I know. So there we go, we'll rig that up, and that is now all sorted. So again, I'm just so tempted to click on that X. I hope they change that at some point. But I will minimize it for now, because we've got everything. Oh yeah, the only other thing I wanted was the pressure. I forgot to just grab that real quick. Open airports, weather, QNH 1011. That'll do. So set the alt barometer over to QNH, and there's 1011. Same on your side, is now on auto tuned. Brill. Okay, let's clear out that caution. It's getting a bit darker, so let's put a bit of auto flood on. Do you know what? It might actually end up looking pretty nice. We'll see. It's the first time me flying this aircraft at night in Flight Sim. I trust this is the brightness setting, but what do I know? Maybe not. Right, we'll go back to the map view then. That's set up nicely. We'll bring this back. Runway heading was... Oh, it's so much easier just to turn your head left and look at the tablet. runway heading. See, here it says 16. That's where I got the 16 from. Remember when I tried to say 16, it says it don't work. And then we click on it, turns out it's actually runway 17. So I don't know why the discrepancy there. But it is what it is. And their runway heading is 167 degrees. I love the way, and I've said it before, you can just flick the mouse and it very quickly goes through the heights. With regards to, and because I haven't done it as a normal flight, I'm not going to pin things, so if I do need to come back, I will use the VOR, and the frequency is 13.1, so we'll leave that on for departure as well because we need it. So there's 13.1, we'll do it on both sides, my side and your side. And our arrival is up here is 12:30, and I'll have that pre-dialed on my side, assuming all goes well. Right, course also 167, so if it all goes wrong I can line myself up. And I think with that we're more or less ready. Anything else to know? I'm just going to put the basic weather info. So if we don't got any weather from any of the other airfields, because they're only like 50, and then from here the other airfield's like 70 miles away, but it's like 50 and 50. Looks like we just, oh, we do have an updated QNH there, so I'm going to pause the tracker this time. So I'm just going to make a note there, QNH 10.8 at, 2979. Temps 27 degrees, dew point 20. Visibility clear, winds 120 at 7, so very similar. Broken at 2,300, I guess that's the only note I want to make with regards to visibility, because otherwise it's clear. So I'm going to take that and we're going to roll with it. So let's hide that, let's minimize this, turn the track IR back on, and how are we doing with regards to the alignment? It looks like we're on. Alright, so turn that on, APU, go. Now we'll put aft left on to feed the APU. Let's use your side then to flight sim actions, ground services. That's all okay, I get. Next page. Oh, release the stairs. Disconnect. Doors. Close. Next page. Well, quick check up here, and all the lights in this box here are out in the middle of my screen, so that must mean the doors are all shut. 10,000 will cruise at that. Again, it's only a short flight, and squawking 177. Out reporting off, and let me just put the dome light on. I love the way that the light and the reflection in that door there. I think that looks pretty cool. In fact, it's a lot better, dare I say it, than the X-plane one. Runway height, we seem to be about 100 feet, so that's going to be my land out as well, cruising at 10 like we've said. APU's up and running, so let's get it on. Lights are already on. Window heat. Both sides, and your damper Caution's off, which is good. That means we've got power and nav alignment, otherwise that light wouldn't go away. Great. So, ground services release the ground power because we're not using it anymore. And I'm thinking, yeah, we need a push. And I'm sure we can do a push through this thingamajig. So, return, where are we here? Push back. Yeah, it's gotten pretty dark, hasn't it? So, I've no idea. Distance to taxi line, is that in meters or unit feet? Okay. Let's try 250 feet. Of course, it then jumps up to 295 for reasons unknown, but whatever. Let's go for it then. So select tug TPX 200. Sounds good to me. And oh yeah, just before we do go, in its gross weight, we can just, or zero fuel weight, yeah, we can just double tap reserves. So based off £8,000, I'm going to say 3. Cost index, let's go 25, but we'll do manual speed anyway. We're going to be cruising at 10 like we've said. Cruise wind, no idea, but it's going to be something akin to what the winds are doing anyway. So let's go 1, 2, 3 at 10 knots. That's going to be closer than leaving it blank. N1 limit for takeoff. Well, we'll just give it. I will derate to 26. Climb at full. Takeoff. Flaps 5. CG is 22.7. So we need 4.6 units of trim, which is now set. Speeds 122, rotating 22, and if we lose it, we climb at 134. Right, that's it. Let's get the pushback then. So auto brake, not yet. Anti-collision light on then. Signs are already on. APU bleeds on. Start the push then.
Cockpit to ground.
Yeah.
Go ahead. We've been cleared for pushback and start straight back. Roger that. Ready for push straight back. Brakes off.
Brakes are off.
Brakes released.
Come on then. Segs, here we come.
Brakes released. Here we go.
And we have movement, and so with that, let's go ahead and start her up. Number 2. N2 coming up. Fuel in. Just checking he's not pushing us into the grass, but do you know, right here would do. It is a bit dark, isn't it? But you know what? I'm going to continue flying at night just to continue to see how the cockpit lighting and all is, and view from the outside. And then we'll turn the lighting on for the second half of the flight, which again is going to be really short anyway. Right, good start on 2.
Pushback complete. Parking brake set.
Parking brake
Brake
is
set.
on. I forget the captain talks on this one.
Steering pin is pulled. Watch for the salute and release from guidance on your right. Have a good flight.
Fuel's going in. Legs on your side. So where is this guy? I just said... He's nowhere to be seen. He's done his vanishing act. I like the one where they drive off to the side and show you the pin. Right, turn off where he did say. Taxi lights on. We'll just go for continuous because it's going to be a real short taxi. Your side, my side of the bus is on the engines. We'll put the hydraulic pumps on. We'll get the packs on again. APU bleed off. Isolation valve. Automatic. Pro beats are on. And we'll just cool the packs off a tad. Gen 1, Gen 2 both looking good. We'll leave it on Gen 2 with it. APU and disappear. We'll get rid of wheel well lights. We'll jump in on the main seat. And flaps 1, 2, 5. Auto brakes RTO. Fuel flow reset, used. Quick flight controls forwards, aft, left, right, boot in. Interesting, the elevator is not aligned with there, but is actually, if I let go of the stick, there. So that must be to do either with the trim or the flap settings. The yoke in the 7.3 does move a little bit when you extend flaps, which is, I don't think they even show that in X-Plane. Right, flight directors, my side, your side. I'll leave auto throttle just in case it goes crazy on me. Let's make a move then. Parking brake disconnects when I squeeze the brakes. Here we go. Last little bit of sunlight, right? Red at night, Shepherd's Delight and all of that good stuff. By the way, are we on the runway here? I think we could be on the runway here. I'll tell you what. Strobe lights on and wing light on. Landing lights on, taxi light off. There we go. Yeah, we are indeed on the runway. I don't like the rudder in this PMDG 737. It's the nose wheel is far too aggressive, and I was barely touching the pedals. I like to use the tiller, which I'm using now. But I'm gonna see if I just stand on the left pedal, can I get it to? Oh no, I can't. But that's weird. So why does the rudder? That's weird. The rudder, when I press that much, steers the aircraft as much as when I do that, which I don't know what that's about. Anyway, using the tiller. Come on, man, steer. Yeah, the way planes especially behave on the ground in Flight Sim 2020 is still really off. Although that said, when I flew the Airbus the other day, I was pretty impressed with that. That's come on a lot. Anyway, we're not in the Airbus today, we're in this one. So let's do a quick toga check. No alarms, so that's good. So auto throttle will arm that, and we'll assume clear for takeoff. Lights on, we'll wind them up. We'll start the clock. And Tara, and with it, let's go. Got caution light is now out.
Airspeed's alive.
Oh, where's my... Oh, I don't...
80 knots.
Well, that's a bit of a bugger, isn't it? Not having my togas. My toga button. Wheels up. Alright, so let's put the auto throttle on. I'll just put it into N1 for now. And lateral. I think we can go vertical and all. Yeah, so top tip. Check that you've bound your toga. The thing is, with X-Plane, when you fly a different plane, it has different controls that automatically load up. In Flight Sim, you can set different controls, but for whatever reason, you have to load them up, which I don't understand why it doesn't automatically load with the plane. Unless, of course, there's another setting somewhere else I don't know about that automatically changes it when you load a plane, but... Because like the Airbus doesn't have a toga button, for example. The Boeing does, so... Anyway, there we go. Flaps up then, and let's go with the autopilot. Gear off. RTO off. Turn off. Taxi light off. Starters off. We'll free the cabin crew. There we go. I really like the lighting on Flight Sim. The aircraft lights are like second to none. And that nice little flicker as well. Like sometimes get with LED lights. It's weird, but it's very effective. Perhaps a little bit too much, but anyway. Right. So then, I think at this point it's all going well. So let's go flight level change. And heading, I'm just going to go manually for something like 300 degrees. And that's the end of the departure. We're already up for 10,000, which is insane. So landing lights, I forget, there we go. And we'll push the speed up ourselves to like 320. Very nice. Okay, so with regards to our flight, let's tidy it up a little bit. So direct to the intercept point there. So we want to be a few degrees that way. 30 degrees. Taking a look on the progress page, it reckons we're going to get there with 6,700 pounds. No, that's what we got now. We're getting there, sorry, 5,900. So just 800 pounds between now and us landing. I'm not, I don't know. I'm not so sure, but 67 miles, we're just going to use 800 pounds. Well, we'll see. In any case, let's work out the landing speeds then. So 114. I'm going to round off the fact we'll certainly be £500 down, and there we see we gain a knot or lose a knot on the approach. I'm going to go with flaps 30, and we'll go with a minimum correction of 5 knots. ILS 1090. Tune that in on both sides. I have redialed my VOR there as well. I see we're just 38 miles from the field. But we do have the DME arc to go. So let's just remind ourselves what we're doing here. So we're on the way now from Cest, let's just call it, San Cristobal to Segs, Galapagos or whatever. And it did have that nice DME arc. Let's just have a quick look. Airport information. It's 7,800 foot, so it's nice and long. Final approach. It's going to be 141. Airfield elevation 200 feet, which is kind of surprising when it's just so close to the sea on such a little island. If we take a little look, I mean, there's the sea, very close, and it's 200 foot. And this one over here has a volcano on it. Let's change IFR to VFR. Yeah, there we go. So there's a big hill, may even be a volcano on this island. I don't know, 2,800 feet, but this one's even higher. Does it say the height? Well, they can see 4,000. This is 5,000, and then inside 4,000 again. So that's a volcano. This one here, 3,000 and some. But either way, it's high. Anyway, let's focus on the landing. Yeah, so after this, we'll do a very, very quick turnaround, and then I'm going to set it to daytime. In fact, we can already see the street lights of the island where we're going out the left. That's it right there. Okay, zooming in. In fact, I'll get my vertical profile out. And seeing as we've got no working weather radar in flight sim at the minute, we'll just put the terrain on the display. Activate the VOR on your side and already dial the ILS in on mine. And let's begin descent. Legs 5,000 feet. We'll go LNAV now. That was very close considering I just put in 330 on the degrees. Look at that. So our deviation 0.07 miles. No, sorry, 0.6. Which wasn't bad, was it? Right, flight level change then. And lights on, turn offs on. It looks pretty cool. Tell you what, man, that sky looks real nice. The way that they've done it, they've not exaggerated the moon to ridiculous proportions or anything. Right. The Airbus A350 has this vertical profile thing, and I really miss it in the, you know, the A320s. So I'm manually, I say manually, we're on level change, but the point is I'm doing it myself. I'm not going to go with VNav, and we'll see how close we can get it. So 5, let's remind ourselves with regards to this approach. Let's get a couple of things in actually. So back to guess IFR low, and again once we do the turnaround I'm going to wind the time back a bit so we get some daylight, because I've seen this aircraft now in the dark, and I got to say I pretty like it. Let's do away with the dome light. I like it. Right, back to normal view then. Let's get these things in. Set that into night mode as well. So ILS, decision altitude or decision height. Let's go for radio. We need 375. There we go. And I'm going to continue descending down to 2000. And we'll reduce speed as well. Actually keep going at 240. Right, minimums are in. The floor, as we've said, was 2,000 feet, which is where we're going to now. And if it all goes wrong, direct to the VOR 141 heading to 2,000. Once we're within 5 nautical miles, a climbing left-hander up to 4, and then hold at the VOR. So straight ahead 141 until we're 5 miles. Make sure we're at or above 2,000. Continue the left turn onto 4. VOR 112.3 is tuned in on your side, and course is already set 141. Right, that's it. We've got everything we need. We are now starting our turn onto base. Runway ain't jumping out at me. Just, I don't want to be. Surely this can be. Ah, there we go. Set brightness. Ah. There we go. That's better. And we can dim some of these screens down as well, just for now. That looks a little better. Your side as well. There we go. Right, 2,500. We're almost at 2,000. No, don't accelerate. We're going to reduce speed now. Flaps up speed. Yeah, we're pretty light because it's below 200. So yeah, if you're in a 7.3 and your flaps up is below 200 knots, you know it can't be that heavy. Let's go ahead on the approach. And we'll put when we're heading into the heading window as well. We are captured at 2,000, so I'm going to reset my out window to 4. It's a weird sort of effect at night when you change the numbers. I don't know if you noticed, it was almost blurry. Right, here we go. Flaps 2 then. And keep dialing back. 170. Auto brake. It's quite a long runway, but if I recall right, where we need to be is at this end, so we need to slap. Let's go auto brake 3. But as soon as we're clear to land, starter switch is on, and cabin crew, take your seats. Flaps 5. Why are we not descending? I armed the approach. What is this? I armed the approach, man. I armed the approach before we went through the glide slope. I'm going to have to watch back, see what happened there. Stump the gear. And so I'm going to get rid of the auto throttle. Flaps 10 for drag. And we're starting to recover.
1,000.
For white again, come on, down we go. Flaps 15. Alright, let's arm the boards.
Approaching minimums.
Yeah, flaps 25, flaps 30, and that's what we're landed with. Minimums continue. Why they want you high up? Look at this. We're apparently low, and we're way above the piano keys. What's this? Man, they want you in long. I wonder what that's all about.
50. 40.
We're just about on ref now.
10.
Boom, all of that, right on ref. Manual braking, just because I'm still a bit finicky with the old reversers here. Okay, let's check them. Turn them off, flaps up, and again we're doing a super quick turnaround here. In fact, taking a look at this windsock, the winds are so light I'm not even going to backtrack. What we'll do is we'll do the turnaround on this little spot here. So let's get the APU up and running. If I'd have known that, I'd have probably started the APU on final just so it was ready. But it does start pretty quick. Start us off. Strobe lights off, landing light off, everything else can stay, even the probe heats. Okay, let's come to a full stop there. Which I could really do with, just because we were going to make it day in a sec. Let's just put the light on. Parking brake on. Light directors, your side, my side, off. APU's ready, so we'll get it on. Leads. Open the ISO valve and let's shut the engines off. Get rid of Tara. Alright, there we are then. Right, finally got rid of the spoilers. Okay, let's stop the clock. So that took about 20 minutes for that first hop. So what I want to do now is, with the engines off, let's get rid of collision light, put the wheel well on, and let's hope we can just quickly do this turnaround. So flight sim, ground. I don't care about the ground power unit, we don't even need the chocks. What I do want to do, fuel, we said we're going to leave. So passengers target, so I'm going to go from 30 to 25. Yeah, just so there's been at least some sort of purpose to this. Let's begin deplaning. Do we just press it, or do we have to? Does stuff have to come into position? Perhaps we need to put the doors and stuff. So right, looks like we can't do anything without the chocks, so let's try that for a start. Wheel chocks set. Next page. Request stairs left side. Air stairs. Oh yeah, because of course Boeing got their own air stairs. Airbus is like, what's one of them? And here comes the stairs. He's driving onto the scene. How fortunate we have a PMDG set of stairs on a little island in the middle of the South Pacific. Hey, I like that, the light there, lighting on the aircraft. I gotta get excited about all these sort of things, because again, I flew flight sims before we even had textures. I remember I had Microsoft Flight Sim 5 and my friend got 5.1. And the difference, I mean there might have been others, but for me the difference was my grass was just green, the sea or the lake was just blue, and his had loads of little squares that we now know as textures, but those little squares really helped. A, it looked loads better, and B, you could gauge how high you were a lot easier with the textures. It was a massive improvement. Anyway, there we go. And so let's begin the deplaning then. Will you work now? Go on, I'll press start. Well, you know what? Is it? Do I still have the signs on? Is that why? Right, well, I'll tell you why we do this then, because I'm not waiting around for Lord knows what to finish. I'm just going to come over to payload. I'm going to change guests from 30 to 25. And I'm going to unload some of the cargo just so that we can make out that we did something. There we go. Return, and with it we're all good. So ground services, get rid of the stairs, get rid of the wheel chocks, and let's quickly set up the new flight. So init ref route origin is where we are right now. I shouldn't embarrass myself by forgetting, but I have. It's Segs, which was Galapagos, and we're now going to the Isle, or the Isla Isabella, surely the Isle Isabella, which is SEII, which is 47 nautical miles away, but there is a, I'm assuming volcano, but at the very least is a mountain in our way, and internet flight rules. Subscribers, I assume it's the, hang on, this has reset our squawk as well to 7401, because we'd set that to the subscribers, which I think was 177. Either way, I'm going to put 177 back in. Runway is going to be the opposite end of where we just landed, so get rid of that. Open charts, taxi, and I'm not even going to mess around with the SID this time. 321. What I am going to do though, before I forget, is set it to daytime. So 321. I'm not sure you can change the time when you had it set to live. I know you couldn't unless they changed it. Let's have a quick look. Weather, time. Oh, you can change it, thank goodness. Right, there we go. Well, let's just move it there just so we've got some time. So we've got some daylight. So we got some time. Yes. Right, turn these back up to full whack because they look a bit faded now that it's daytime. Turn the backlighting off. Same with your side. FMC's on full whack. As we're ready to go. Right, the route's in. The departure runway we said was 32 because the winds are light. Next page, there's going to be none of that. We're just going to depart runway 32. There is only one SID, so we'll take it. Route. And I know there's only one arrival because I did it's an NDB only approach, and I know because I did a video on it. I think it was one of the first I did on the channel. So arrive, NDB 35, and that's it. And so the route is going to be that rigged up. We're not even going to do the full departure because it takes us to where we just came from. Right, that's in. Performance numbers then, based on the 0 fuel weight reserves. I'm going to knock it back to 2.5. Hopefully we don't get any cautions. Cost index. Let's go with 100. And I'm going to cruise at 10,500. Okay. N1 limit, Z rate just a tad, flaps 5. Where we're landed is a very short runway. Trim 4.93, so that's basically 5 units of trim. Speeds very much like before, 22, 22 and 34. Straight up, no delay to 10.5. And we'll put that in on the cruise window. 10.5 is in. Okay, we're ready to go. Check that the door panel is all out, which it is. And so let's go ahead and start her up. Whatever this squawk is, 7401, gonna take it. Good start on 2. Let's start numero. Oh, I did I was recording a couple of days ago for the channel with the A320. I didn't upload it though because I went to the south of France where there's that landing challenge in Flight Sim 2020 on that short 2,000 foot runway that sort of goes uphill. I'm going to embarrass myself trying to pronounce it, but it's something like Le Cochorel or something to that effect. It's a landing challenge there anyway. And I took the Airbus on it and it dropped out the sky on final and it hit just before the runway, the bump, and it went bang and it bounced up in the air, landed on the runway, and all was well. So I thought, oh great, I know, I'll start recording from here. So I started recording as if like I was just taking off on this downhill 2,000 foot runway with nothing the matter. Oops. Track IR, let's turn that back on. Put the engine on. And as I'm coming down the runway, I'm running, it's only 2,000 feet, even though it's downhill, I'm pulling back on the stick. And of course, fly-by-wire and Airbus, right, isn't letting me stall. So I go flaps. I had flaps 2 set. I thought I was going to need it because it's a short runway. Well, now I'm thinking flaps 3, so I put them out. I'm at full toga anyway. And it rolls off the end of the runway. There's like this tiny little, like a tiny little lump at the end, and it just sort of kicks the aircraft up in the air, but we're still then going down. There's a gap between 2 trees, and I put it through there. And then after that, we're sort of starting to gain enough to really fly. But basically, a lot of luck came together with, how I say, 4 parts luck, 1 part skill, but made it. And then there was this caution on the FMC because I hadn't set up a flight. So I thought, oh, I know then, let's go direct to, and I put a certain airfield in. And when I pressed it, the McDo in the Airbus, you know, this thing here that, you know, I often call the FMC, but the McDo, it crashed. And when it crashed, the entire Airbus crashed. And I don't mean crashed as in the side of the hill. I mean crashed as in the module crashed. And so now I was flying in a straight line. The trim wheel was spinning. My controls weren't responding at all. The velocity vector was going down, yet the speed weren't changing at all. And yet the thing was just flying in a perfectly straight line the whole time. And I thought, oh, I can't really upload that, can I? Because it made the module look really bad, and then it would have just been a pointless ending. Anyway, with a pointless ending of the pointless story, let's go ahead and make a start. So both engines are on. Put the starters on continuous. On bus your side. On bus my side. All the lights are on, straight with the landing lights as well. Wing lights on. Strobe lights on. Ring ding in back. RTO's already set. Flaps 1, 2, 5. There, do you see the yoke move ever so slightly? Probably not, but I'm just going to do a quick toga check. What's the problem? Ah, flaps not set, not in position yet. Alright, so that's that done, and let's just put QRH so it don't disappear. Stand on the brakes. Tara. That time no takeoff warning. So yeah, we do need flaps 5 in position and set. I was curious about that on a video not long ago where the flap lever was set but the flaps were not in position and there was no takeoff warning, and I was thinking that doesn't seem right to me. Well, the PMDG here shows that it ain't right. In any case, we had 20 minutes, so let's reset the clock here and start it again. So it was 14 minutes turning around there, which was not. Now hang on, we've still got caution lights here, left and right. Let's just see what the problem is here. What have we got here? Left and right overwing. I didn't realise. I've not seen the overwing doors open. Are you? What on earth is that? That to me is the emergency exits. Engine. Let me just check the thing here. Menu. Flight sim. Doors. Next page. Well, according to this, everything is shut. So the only option we have is to open everything. So why is it saying that the overwing doors are open when they're not? Well, you know me, we're going to go regardless. I wonder if we get a master caution for this. Let's find out. Engines are stable. Flight director's on. Hickory dickory dock. We're on the runway, so we're starting the clock. Manual throttle again, auto throttle on. Let's go ahead at N1.
Alive. 80 knots.
Ah, she's accelerating and I didn't even hit the toga rate.
Rotate.
Here we go. Do you know what I'm going to do? Just because it's a bit of fun, let's do something a bit different for once. Flaps 2, flaps 1, flaps up. Why she accelerates if you don't ask for that?
Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle.
Yeah, we're okay about that.
Bank angle.
As long as we're within 2.5 G or less. And 2.5 G's with a completely loaded up plane, so you can get more out of it really. If you're not full, right? And that 2.5 G is obviously what it's certified for, so then there's how much more you're willing to push it with the creeks. Yeah, look, so here we got this hill or mountain, whatever you want to call it. It's just showing up there. And then we can already see our destination and the volcano over there. Right, gear lever off, turn this off. I'll just get rid of the auto throttle, do my own thing for now. Start the switches off. Turn offs off. APU off. By the way, I had the APU bleed on and the engine bleed and I was on full power and one didn't seem to knock out the other. We don't even have the dual bleed warning on, so what's with that? Turn the packs on. No wonder it went like, excuse my French, shit off a shovel. It was a no bleeds takeoff inadvertently. I didn't check. Fine. Whoa, yeah, no, I don't want you on. Hi, there's a lot of trees on this island. See, this is what I like about the Boeings that you can't do in the Airbus.
Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle.
Airspeed full. Airspeed full.
As long as you don't pull G or get too violent with it, it ain't gonna break the plane.
Airspeed full.
I mean, you've only got to watch that video of that. I think it was the Boeing 7. Was it the 707 or the 727? I forget which.
Terrain.
And they were getting it. They were doing some sort of maneuver high up old footage, and they test pilots were it was rolling. They were stalling it. It then snap rolled, and then in the dive, you know, they went right over. Starts going through. You hear the clanger going over speed, and they're in there. I mean, to say they're calm is not too far off the situation. I mean, they were through the red tape by quite some, and you know they were sweating. You know, they were just, you know, business as usual. It was a lot of fun to watch. I don't know if you've seen it, so this ain't gonna break. Hiya, Ibrahim. Thank you. That's a very nice comment. Yeah, I only started it about a month ago, so We'll see how it goes, but I appreciate the kind words of encouragement.
Bank angle. Bank angle.
Just having a bit of fun with the PMDG for this flight. More of a test to see if the stream works, but looks like the stream's working, and the PMDG also. Speaking of which, before I completely get carried away, I need to tune in my NDB beacon. So, level change, autopilot, heading 240. Yeah. So, going over and inverted through the clacker, and it still were phasing, and you couldn't see the speed because it was like an old camera and the sound was like, you'll know the one if you've seen it, but it's just based on the fact they were pointing down by about 45 degrees and going through the clacker, and they had to gradually pull up because of the speed. I'm reckoning they must have been at least 50 knots into the barber pole, although I'd love to know what it really was. Let's have a little look. Yeah, so here we are, and we're headed towards Isabella. There we go, there's the code, 246. And if you haven't seen it before, here's the approach. There is only the one approach procedure, NDB. There's no RNAV, there's no ILS, there's no VORs, there's no prescribed visuals, no nada. It's an NDB, and that's it. And it's for runway 35 only. So if, like today, where the wind is from the southeast, you've got to do a circle to land. Anyway, 246, and we need to be 4,000 feet. That's the only things I'm sort of bothered about. 2, 4, 6 is in. And I'll keep the flight directors on. It's this one. NDB 246 is in, and I think it is pointing that way now. Yeah, we've got a working NDB. There we see that little blue arrow, about 241 degrees, and we're about 20 miles away. I'm not going to do the full NDB procedure. I'm just gonna have a bit of fun with the plane today. So the one thing I want to look at on here is just how long the runway is. So there we see it, 4,900 feet long, elevation 30, that's it. Heading 166. So I've just put the course in there to remind myself, 166, elevation 35, so to the nearest 50, that is 50 feet. Alright, let's go. So turn off's on. Get rid of the auto throttle as well. I love the sounds on the A320 by Phoenix and the PMDG 737 have the best sounds I have ever heard, bar none, for a flight sim aircraft. And I don't know why that is. You'd think, you know, sound is just a matter of recording the sounds and playing it back, and at the right sort of frequency depending on the speed and stuff. But I've never heard any sounds get them as good. Just under 10 miles to go. I put the boards out with my... No, I really need to take a look at changing changing the controls automatically at some point. I'm sure it must be possible. Seems like such an obvious thing to do.
Bank angle.
Caution, terrain.
There's the clacker that we was on about.
Bank angle. Bank angle.
Well, we must be very close to this airfield now. What have we got it? About 2 miles away. Or where is it then?
Up.
There it is.
Pull up. Terrain, terrain. Pull up. Terrain, terrain. Pull up. Terrain, terrain. Pull up.
I'd love to visit. You know, have you ever looked on Google Maps or Google Earth or whatever? And to some of these far off islands in the middle of nowhere, I guess this is one of them, certainly from my perspective. And just fancy being able to visit. I mean, look at it. You've got lovely, beautiful beach here, trees galore. You've got a volcano. You've got an airfield. What more would you want?
Terrain, terrain. Pull up.
Probably a slow internet.
Up. Terrain, terrain. Pull up.
Right, let's see if we can shut off some of these warnings.
Terrain, terrain. Pull up.
That's interesting. We've turned the things off and it's still going.
200.
Bank angle.
Don't sink. Don't sink. Terrain. Don't
Let's get rid of the air brakes as well.
sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Terrain. Too low. Terrain. Pull up. Caution. Terrain. Too low. Terrain. Too low. Terrain.
Like a fighter jet. Hey, I tell you what, man, this thing can turn.
Pull up. Terrain. Terrain. Pull up. Terrain. Terrain. Pull up. Caution. Terrain.
Like,
Too low. Terrain.
it can just really turn.
Too low. Terrain. Too low. Terrain.
Just having a bit of a test with the flight model, because it's something I've never really done with the PMDG, and
Don't sink. Sink rate. Don't too sink. Terrain. Airspeed full. Airspeed full.
I can't explain it properly. It other than to say there's this something missing. Like, the best way I can describe it is the inertia of the moment. You know, when you're changing pitch either up or down, that inertia that you get, it feels like it's missing. It just, it's too easy to change.
Caution. Terrain. Airspeed full. Airspeed full.
Bank angle. Bank angle.
But I'll tell you what, it's a massive improvement over what it was. I mean, you look at those early videos people were uploading and they were like landing Dreamliners on like runways that big, and it was, oh, aircraft carriers, even worse.
Pull up.
And then you had people wondering why somebody was saying it weren't very realistic.
Terrain. Terrain. Pull up. Too low. Terrain.
Yeah, because Dreamliners can land on aircraft carriers. Right, runway now, let's come in. Let's do, you know, like the Air Force, they do that, they come in at high speed and then do the overhead brake into land. Let's try that. And then that'll be it. Let's just get myself a landing speed in, just so I've got one. In it ref, it's going to have to be flaps 40 because it's a short runway, so 120 knots. We'll try and remember that. Runway is in sight. I am up late. Hiya, Kiwi. How are you doing? Yeah, finally. Well, unfortunately, I am up very late. You're right. It's 20 past 2. I started like 4 hours ago thinking, do you know what? I'm going to see if I can figure out to get a live stream on the channel. And then I thought, oh, I'll just add the webcam and check the sound. And it's taken me this long to try and figure it all out. But I am coming to the end because I'm going to try and do an overhead brake here, Isabella.
Pull up.
At least that's the plan.
Pull up. Pull up. Terrain, terrain. Pull up. Terrain, terrain. Pull up. Terrain, terrain. Pull up. Pull up. Terrain, terrain. Pull up. Terrain, terrain. Pull up. Caution, terrain.
Bank angle.
You just got up. I don't look tired. I guess I'm not that tired, really. I don't know why. My sleep's a bit messed up, to be fair. That's 2.
Sink rate.
3,500 pounds of fuel left.
Pull up. Pull up. Terrain, terrain. Pull up. Caution. Terrain.
I'm gonna go for auto brakes maximum, but again, my reversers are still. I don't know why. For me, they're just the toggle reverse switch. It just. I don't know what it is in this game. It just doesn't seem to like me. Anyway, let's turn in now for final.
Bank angle.
Caution. Terrain. Terrain, terrain. Pull up. Terrain, terrain.
Where is it?
Pull up. Caution. Terrain.
There it is.
Airspeed full.
Caution. Terrain. Caution. Terrain. Pull up. Terrain, terrain. Pull up. Terrain, terrain. Pull up. Terrain, terrain. Pull up.
Come on, it's a short runway.
10.
Trying to bury the nose. I think we've made it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Isle of Isabella. Beautiful. Alright, that's going to be it, Kiwi. Nice to meet you too. By the way, add me on... I gave you my Discord thing, so add me on there. And until next time, Kiwi and anybody else. Isabella, yeah, it's in... it's where I did that NDB thing a little while ago on X-Plane. I just fancied visiting it. It's there. So South America, 1,000 miles west, these islands. We started here, San Cristobal, and then we flew, did a real quick turnaround at Galapagos or whatever it is, and then wound up here. Alright, good night, Kiwi. And to anybody else that may be here, wherever in the world you may be, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Take care. Bye-bye.